Hello, everybody, and welcome to the side panel. I'm your host, AJ, and I am back here again. I'm sorry that I was gone for a little while there. I had to recover from surgery, and it kind of knocked me on my butt for a bit. But I'm back, everybody. Let's just say that not only was it the surgery, but it might have also been the lack of movies that were out, and I just didn't get out to go see a lot of them because there's nothing out there to see. But I did go see some movies this weekend, and saw some movies a couple weeks ago, so I'm here to talk about those. So, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? So, the first movie we're going to talk about will be Free Guy. That's right, the Ryan Reynolds, Jodie Comer film that everybody seems to be raving about right now and loving. I had a chance to go see. And, guess what? It lived up to the hype. I actually really, really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I've been expecting and waiting for this movie for a long time, seeing all the trailers and stuff, watching Ryan Reynolds on Instagram, and as he talked about the movie and the stuff that he was doing while he was making it, and all the other news and bits that were coming out of it. So when I heard it was finally getting released after the whole COVID-19 stuff, I was really excited to go and see it. And, I wasn't disappointed at all. Free Guy is basically based on a character whose name is Guy and works and is a non-player character, NPC as we call it, in an open-world video game known as Free City. And somehow he gains sentience. He becomes an artificial intelligence, and he begins to want more than what his normal, mundane, everyday life for programming sets him to do. Sees a girl, falls in love with her, love at first sight, and follows her along until finally he figures out a way to talk to her, and boom, the movie goes from there. I don't want to give too much away, because it is a fun movie, and it's really... You really just need to go and see it to enjoy it. Yes, this is one of those films where you have to see in the theater to actually enjoy, if you can, the biggest screen possible. Real D 3D, IMAX, Dolby Cinema, stuff like that, RPX. Go see it in any of those films. Yes, it's worth a 3D viewing. Just because of all the graphics and all the stuff that's going on. This movie is Ready Player One and The Matrix kind of all rolled into one. But it's what we wanted out of Ready Player One and not what we got out of Ready Player One. So I really, really enjoyed it and cannot say enough about this film. Movies like this are the reason we go to the theater. They're the reason why we venture outside of our house and look for that escape from realism and something to just entertain us and make us smile and laugh and feel good. Just have fun. And that's what this movie is. It's a reason and an excuse to have fun. So if for some reason you don't feel safe enough, you're worried about going out, and the Delta variant being what it is nowadays, do yourself a favor. Get a bunch of friends, call in sick on a weekday, go to the theater, see a matinee, and sit in the middle of them. And that way they can all get sick around you and you are safe. And enjoy the movie while you're at it. And it's lots of fun. Trust me, you will not regret seeing this movie. There are so many cameos in there, I just can't even really go through without ruining anything. So go, see, enjoy, laugh, have fun. And that's exactly what I did. Unfortunately, after that movie, I went and saw Don't Breathe Part 2. Now, for those of you who saw Don't Breathe Part 1, you know what we're kind of getting into. There's this blind ex-Navy SEAL guy who, he originally, the first movie, what that was about was a bunch of people broke into his house after they found out that his daughter had died and left him a big bunch of money. But then they find out he's blind, so they figure, hey, we can just break in, jack his stuff, and be out before he even realizes it because, poor old man, he's blind. Well, turns out that he's an ex-Navy SEAL, and he knows how to kill people, and in the whole process of it, kills everybody except for one person, takes her downstairs, and you find out that he has another girl down there trapped that he has been trying to artificially inseminate with a those plunger things that they have for turkey basters. There you go. That he tries to have his way with by using a turkey baster. So then in the end, everybody escapes, everybody's happy, blind man has had his ass kicked, and blah, 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 blah. Here comes the sequel, and somehow they've turned this kidnapping, murdering, rapist dude into a hero. And he now has an 8-year-old daughter, or 11-year-old daughter, and they all live in this town, and people come and try to mess him up and kidnap the girl, and he has to go on a killing rampage to get her back. Now, here's the deal. The movie is actually kind of fun, and it's kind of cool and awesome seeing all this stuff going on, and the way he kills, and he comes across as very human in this movie. He gets hurt a lot. He's not invincible. He's flawed. He's all this stuff. And that's how he carries himself in the movie. And then at the end, he confesses all those crimes to everything, like murder, rape, everything, the whole thing, the whole ordeal. But to just turn it around like that, I don't know. I just didn't get the story. I didn't get behind, fall in line with everything that had happened. And so I wasn't that impressed. However, if you just want to see a blind guy beat the crap out of a bunch of people in a way that you're not going to get ever from, say, Daredevil, then you should go see this movie. Because in that aspect, it's a lot of fun, cool fight scenes, everything. It was produced by Sam Raimi, so you got that kind of action and cinematography behind it. And it's just, a little bit of fun. So again, if you're into that kind of stuff, where a murder rapist saves the day, then, go see the movie. It's all up your alley. But if not, then I wouldn't bother to go see it because, you're not going to like it. Next up. Now, this next movie is a big bag of confusion. I went and saw Candyman, the new 2021 film, based off of the short story written by Clive Barker known as The Forbidden. This movie is, we all know Candyman, right? You look in the mirror, you say Candyman 5 times, Tony Todd shows up, hooks you up, and boom, you're dead. And that's all there is to it. Well, this film is kind of a sequel to that, in that, if you guys remember in the original film, Virginia Madsen, her character meets up with one of the ladies that live in the apartment building that they're in, the Cabrini Greens public housing development. And that woman eventually has her child kidnapped by Candyman. And Virginia Madsen, in an effort to save his life, jumps into the fire and saves him. And there ends the movie. Well, this movie, the new Candyman, takes place where you find out that this character is actually the son that was saved. His name is Anthony, and he is now an artist going crazy and drawing stuff all over, Anthony McCoy, and he's drawing stuff all over the Cabrini Green Chicago projects. And so while he's there, he gets stung by a bee and begins down a path of candy madness. And that's all I can really say about it without giving away too much. Here's my review of the film. It's stupid. You go in expecting one thing. You expect Candyman levels of violence. You expect killing and all this stuff. What you don't expect is a story about the gentrification of the Cabrini Greens neighborhoods and all this other stuff about just politics, which it's my own fault for not realizing that a lot of Jordan Peele's movies are about a message about all the politics and whatnot that's going on in America today. And so that was my bad in not realizing that that's the kind of movie I was walking into. I did not want to see that kind of movie. I want to see a movie about Candyman. And what I got instead was this. Now, it's not to say that that ruins the movie. It doesn't. It's just a huge voice in the movie. And aside from that, the editing was just bad. The storytelling was bad, and I just didn't get it, and I just didn't care for it. Now, establishing the fable, tying the characters together to the original film, and even going along into making you understand Candyman itself and the lore of Candyman, the name of Candyman, was kind of cool. They used this kind of animation that you saw very familiar to the Harry Potter Deathly Hallows animation for that story part. In this part, they kind of used the same, but it's more black and white. We've all seen it in the trailers, the little silhouette stick figures that are telling a story. That's what they do here, is tell the story in the fable of what's known as Candyman. And so that stuff is kind of cool. It even leads into, I don't want to say an after credit scene, but a during the credit scene. As the credits are rolling on one side, you see more of what happened with the Candyman in this theater type environment. By theater, I mean like, silhouette theater, shadow puppets and stuff that you see. That part is really cool. Everything else about the movie I just wasn't impressed with. The effects were cool, but there's one kill that was really awesome and over the top, and I really, really enjoyed it. But unfortunately, that didn't make up for the rest of the movie. This film is more akin to just fall in line with the other Candymans as opposed to actually improving on the story or just doing anything to I don't know, highlight. I just don't know. It just wasn't that great for me, in my opinion. And maybe I was set back by the fact that a couple of audience members got up in the middle of the movie and left, complaining about how they didn't realize that this was going to be a black movie. To which I'm like, have you never seen a Candyman movie before? Did you not watch the trailer? But anyway, like, maybe that kind of upset me and bothered me. Maybe it was the political undertones that we're having, or overtones that were coming through in the movie. Maybe it's just a combination of the two. Either way, I did not enjoy the movie as much as I had hoped to. That's not saying you won't enjoy the movie. It just means that I didn't. So, if you're a horror fan, if you're a Candyman fan, I really recommend going to go see it. Formulate your own opinion and go from there. Is it worth seeing in the theater? No. Not at all. It's not at all scary. There's no like jump scares or nothing. It's more the horror of what's happening as opposed to, like on the edge of your seat, biting your nails, what's going to happen next type of thing. It doesn't fill your head with that at all. In fact, it adds to the disappointment. So, if you, there is one thing that everybody wants to know. Does Tony Todd show up in this film? Yes, he does. He shows up again. He's Candyman again. Daniel Robitaille. He is Candyman for 5 whole seconds at the end of the movie in CGI. Moving on. The next movie I decided to go see. Oh, one other thing that's kind of confusing. At the end of the third film, which took place in 2020, well, not the end, but, the third film took place in 2020. This movie takes place in 2019. Kind of weird. I don't know how they're going to try and play that off, but, whatever. The next movie I saw was Reminiscence. This is that Hugh Jackman movie that's been out that everyone's like, ooh, let's go kind of check it out and see what it's about. It's stupid. I know I had one of my fans, out of the 5 of you that are out there say, maybe you should explain the movie before you tell how you feel about the movie. I'm sorry. So let me go ahead and tell what happens in this movie and what this movie is about. We are in like a distant future where for some reason Miami and New Orleans, or parts of New Orleans, and I'm guessing parts of Georgia too, are all flooded. And because of that, it sets apart different classes of people. It creates new classes of society and separates them. So you have the part of society that lives in the waters that's basically now slums and the ghetto, and the people that decided when the floods came in to buy up the property at pennies on the dollar, and then, run it as like slumlords and now what's known as the property barons. Those people live in what's also known as the dry land, so dammed up area in the New Orleans, Georgia, Florida coast, as it may be, that is, away from the water and completely dry. And somehow in this time, they have developed the ability to be able to access people's memories and display them and store them and save them in vaults. And that's where we come in. With Hugh Jackman as like your guide. He sits there and guides you through all the different corners of your memory to try and help you explore the thing that you're trying to find the most. And it just goes from there. And it's just so lame. It tries to be neo-noir, and Hugh Jackman has a narrative throughout the entire thing, and in his narrative is just so speechy, like everything is just so dramatic and so just so cliche, like everything about it. He tries to be Decker from Blade Runner, and instead, he just doesn't pull it off well. Feels like he's reading from a script, which is what he's doing. And the movie is you know what's going to happen throughout the movie. It just gives everything away, and why everything has to be underwater at this time, it makes no sense. There's no reason for it because it doesn't play any role in the story whatsoever, except for maybe a scene. But other than that, it makes no matter in the film. It just doesn't make any sense. So, when I saw the movie, the movie just came out last Friday, and I saw the movie on Thursday, and it's already in one of the smaller theaters, in your multiplex. You have the smaller, more trashy looking theater that has maybe 4 or 5 rows in it, and the seats are all tore up and cracked. This movie was already in that theater. I was the only one in the theater, and it speaks volumes as to how this movie is expected to do so far. This is one of those movies that's really going to suffer, even if it had been better. You would think that with drawing power, like the name of Hugh Jackman, Rebecca Ferguson, Thandie Newton, Cliff Curtis, 2 of these people are in the Marvel Universe right now, and they still couldn't draw anybody into the theater. Also, it's suffering because it came out on HBO Max the same day. So I'm sure everybody that even had any inkling of deciding to go and see this just decided to pop it on HBO Max and watch it instead. And we're glad that they didn't waste the money to go see it in the theater. It's a beautiful film, but it leaves you with more questions than answers. And one of those questions is, why did I go see this movie? So I just didn't enjoy it at all. And maybe you will. Go check it out and see for yourself, and then let me know. You have the opportunity to call and leave messages here on this podcast, and messages that we can play on the air, and I can answer. Or if you don't want the messages played, leave the message anyway, and I'll just read the message and reply to your message here. And I've said message way too much in the past messages to message what I'm messaging. You know what I'm messaging? Minute. So, with that, I will leave you with this final message. Hi, and thank you for tuning in. Please head on over Forbidden Panel and check out our website. Head on over to the Facebooks right now. I am running a fundraiser to help raise money for our zombie pinup calendar, which is a really awesome thing that we've done here that we hope to release soon, provided we raise enough money in the fundraiser. We're so close to the end, so please help us out. Again, leave a message for me if you want any questions answered, or if you want to recommend any films or ask if I've seen any films, or if you just want to cuss me out for any reason. I'll play it on the air, or I won't. I don't know, but one way or another, I will address it in one shape or form or another. Everybody, please take care of yourself, and I hope everyone's having being safe and healthy, and just keeping your all being mentally sane and happy. With that, thanks for tuning into the side panel. I'll talk to you guys later.